Shabbat Shalom, everybody. It is I, Rabbi Stephen, or Rab Shmuel ben Yehoshua. Yes, Rashbi in the house. Still in the house. Okay. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all managing and making the most. And I just want to say from the outset, one of the things I do as a rabbi is I do spiritual counseling. If anybody wants to talk or, they want to get something off their chest or they just need to vent, please let me know. You get my emails, and I'm sure you all have my contact information. Give me a call, text me, email me, let me know when you're available. We'll talk for half an hour, whatever venue works for you, Skype, phone, whatever. Okay, so let me know, please. So I just want to be, of service. Second of all, thank you for those of you that tuned in on Friday night for our Friday live stream. We will be doing a Saturday morning this week, this coming Saturday. And the following Friday, we will also do another live stream. So the goal is to do a Friday night every 2 weeks. And in the middle of the first and second Friday, throw in a Saturday there too. So you can get a little bit of a Saturday morning flavor, especially, some of you kids that are coming up for your B'nai Mitzvot, kind of get used to the service and, kind of see how it goes. And maybe we'll figure out a way that you can participate in it as well. Finally, another thing, my website, okay, modernrabbistephen.com. I've been working on it and I've been adding a few things for your education. Let's put it that way. So I've got a homepage and it contains pictures, from Instagram, and it also contains blogs. And on those pictures from Instagram, there are some links to whatever it is. So there's a picture that you'll see for the Friday night live stream. You go in there. There's a couple of links. You can view it if you want on YouTube and or Facebook. And the blogs are the same. They also have my sermons on there where I've got the text. I'm also talking about it. I've got some other information on there as well, videos, etc. But I've added a couple of other things too. If you go up to the top on the menu bar, you'll see Home on the left side. Going from left to right, you'll see another tab called File Share. Now that contains some documents. You can edit some of those files if you like, but you have to become a member and sign up, which is up to you, but it's not a big deal. Just your name, email, and we're good to go. But it's got some files, like, for example, if you want to follow along with the Friday night or Saturday morning service, I've got pamphlets on there. You can either download it, you can print it out, or maybe watch it on your phone, on your mobile phone, while you're looking at the flow on the computer if you want, or most of you know it by heart. That's okay too. Also, the Mishaberach list is on there, and if you see somebody that's gotten better, thanks to whatever, take them off, or you can put somebody on if you want. You can do that. And finally, I've added something else. Let's see how this works. This is a forum. This is the next tab from left to right. It's a forum. And this is for discussions. If you have a question about Judaica or about Judaism, how it fits into your life, or you're just curious about something, let me know. And I got the idea. Somebody had asked me about this whole idea of virtual services that we're doing. Does a minyan count, or how do you count in a minyan? And I put my thoughts on there. If you disagree or agree, go ahead and feel free to do your input. Okay, let's get to this week's Torah portion, which is also, you've been great, so we've got a double portion for you. And again, this is a combination that goes together when we're not having a leap year with the extra month, and we need to fill in, we need to combine a few different portions. So this is Acherei Mot, after the death, which is after the death of Nadab and Abihu, and Kedoshim. And let's look at how this goes. So after death, this is just, nothing really about that, just, after the death of Nadab and Abihu, and Moses went to Aaron, and we're talking about Yom Kippur. So we're talking about how the high priest, dons special garments and makes expiation, or makes kapar, makes atonement for the whole congregation. And there's some animal sacrifices that are involved. The first one is a bull, and that's because of Abraham. That's to remember Abraham and his sacrifice to Hashem. Then there is the ram, and that has to do with Isaac. As he was put on the altar, he was going to be a sacrifice, and the angel stayed Abraham's hand, and there was a ram in the thicket, and they sacrificed that instead. And then there's the goats, which are the goats that Jacob made for Isaac, or prepared for Isaac, and Esau was going to prepare for his meal before he bestows his blessing. All right. So, interestingly enough, there's also an incense that's involved in the idea in the whole service of atonement as well. Now, the incense part of that is the idea that incense is just kind of, it's like smoke, it's a puff, it dissipates into the air. And the connection, the symbolism, the metaphor is, you got it, gossip. Now, a lot of people have said, "Gee, Rabbi Steve, why do you talk about gossip so much?" Hey, it's not me; it's the Torah. The Torah sees this as a very key, very critical concept. Let's look at the flow. In Shemini, a few portions ago, they talked about, the idea of kashrut. What goes into your mouth and into your body, and what your body absorbs as nutrients, needs to be holy. Then we have Tazria and Matsura. And this is when the blotches appear, and part of that is because people are Lashom Harah, Lashom Harah, however you pronounce it. The evil speech. It's gossip. It's all about gossip. You're out there talking about somebody. You're destroying their reputation, and as a result, your karma is that these blotches happen on your skin. Now we're talking about in Acherei mode. We're talking about the idea of this idea of gossip. And one of the comments in the Eitz Chaim Chumash is that in the Vidui, that we do on Yom Kippur, and also the Acherei, there is more emphasis on gossip and evil speech than any other sin that you could think of. Isn't that interesting? Across 4-5 different portions, we have this theme about talking about people, and that's why it's so critical. Again, the idea of the commandment to not kill, that just happens twice, where the 10 commandments are. I mean, again, we've got a lot of commentary about it, if it's accidental, if it's intentional. But the idea of talebearing and gossip, it's prevalent. In fact, the next portion after Acherei mode that's read, in tandem with it when we have a non-leap year, is Kedoshim. There are more commandments in this one portion than any place in the Torah. And you guessed it, there's 2 places where it says don't talebear, don't join in with folks to bear false witness during a trial. So it's so important because that can be a living death. When somebody's reputation is destroyed, because that's how people make a living. You go to somebody because you think they're reputable, you think they're honest. You get people spreading gossip, and what happens? All of a sudden, you just kind of hands off. You don't want to chance it. So it's very, very prevalent. All right, so let's depart from that a little bit. Let's talk to another key concept there in Acherei mode with the Yom Kippur, and that's the whole idea of the goat of Azazel. And we've talked about this a little bit, so I'm just going to touch on it briefly. We talk about it when Yom Kippur happens. And, the idea of the 2 goats. One is sacrificed as the offering, which we discussed, for Isaac, and then the other one is sent into the wilderness, and that one later on it was also sacrificed, thrown off a cliff, and that's part of Yom Kippur. And there's been a lot of mythology, let's say, about this whole idea of a goat, that Azazel is some demon that has to be appeased, or that it's being sent away, so that, Satan's watching, so he doesn't bear with, oh, well, there's this goat. I'm going to go follow the goat and forget about what everybody else is doing. And what's the real reason? Some people say it's very symbolic. It's just symbolic, like you're casting off your sins. That's it, right? That's all there is. So that was Acherei mode. Getting back to Kedoshim, all right, and Kedoshim means holy. All these commandments, one right after another. And there's also an emphasis about being honest with people. Again, we talk about gossip, and we talk about being honest with people in business. And there's the idea that you don't put a stumbling block in front of a blind person, which is that if somebody's disabled, you don't take advantage of somebody who's disabled. And this was another prevalent theme, helping those that are most vulnerable in our society, the widow, the orphan, the righteous stranger that just comes, wants to be part of Klal Yisrael, the community of Israel, and doesn't have any ancestral land, and maybe has to learn a trade. And then you want to accept that person. You were strangers in Egypt. Don't don't, harass somebody who is really kind of at your mercy. But now we're also talking about disabled people. You want to help them. And there's the metaphor there too. You don't take advantage of people in a business deal. Everything gets laid on the table so people can make an honest, straightforward decision about the business deal. Okay? So that's really all I have for you today. If you have any questions, please let me know. You can text me, you can email me, put a message on modernrabbistephen.com. If you'd like, go to that forum. Also, in the file share at the bottom of that page, I keep forgetting to mention that there's a couple of links. One is for linksafaria.com. This is a great link. It's got all the texts, the Torah, the Hebrew scriptures. It's got the Talmud on there, but it's just the text. That's why I recommend you get the books, because it's got some commentary. Also, next to it is Jewish Virtual Library. Anything you want to know about Judaism, there it is. Okay? So, Shabbat Shalom. Please tune in for the Saturday morning. I'll be sending out some invites on that. And thank you again for listening. Appreciate your patronage.